Hi guys, welcome back. Hope you're all keeping well. This is video 5 of our hydrocarbon series and is focusing on the systematic naming of molecules. So in chemistry, you must be able to accurately describe the structure of a molecule in a short and concise way. And the easiest way to do this is by giving the molecule a unique name. So to help us name the molecule, the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, or the IUPAC, have produced a set of rules to follow when naming the molecule. So let's start off with this molecule here. Step 1 is to find the longest carbon chain in the molecule. So in this case here, going from left to right, we'll see that we've got 3 carbons, 1, 2, 3. We also have a carbon chain going 1, 2, then it bends at right angles, and a third carbon is there. But both ways, whatever way you look at it, it contains 3 carbons in its longest chain. So a 3 carbon chain is called propane. So we know the molecule is going to end in the word propane. Next, you want to identify any branches coming off the main chain. So when you've got a straight chain alkane or alkene, and you see a carbon atom or more than one carbon atom coming off that main chain, we call this a branch. So in this case here, we've got a 1 carbon branch. The name of this branch is determined by how many carbon atoms are coming off. So in this case, we've got 1 carbon atom here. So we're going to call that a methyl branch. Meth meaning 1 carbon. So that's called a methyl branch. So we can see we've got our main chain here with a methyl branch coming off our chain. So we're going to add that before the word methyl. You can see we're working our way backwards here. The last thing we need to work out is where that methyl branch is coming off. What number of carbon in the chain that methyl branch is coming off. So we can see we've got our first carbon here, we've got our second carbon here, and this carbon here, this is actually the first carbon in the chain as well. Because remember, these molecules, you're able to look from left to right, or you can read from right to left as well, because these are physical molecules. If you were to look at a molymod, you'll be able to rotate this molecule, and you'll see that that methyl branch here comes off the second carbon, regardless of what way you look at it. So we see this methyl branch comes off the second carbon, so the last thing we need to add in is the number. So this molecule here we call 2-methylpropane. So by following these rules here, you're able to name any molecule given to you in National Fire Chemistry, regardless of its shape or size. So let's have a go at naming this molecule here, following the 3 steps that we just laid out. First step, find the longest carbon chain. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 carbons going from left to right. You'll see we've also got a branch coming off, and if we were to include these 4 carbons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 2 on the branch, 5, 6, we would still have 6 carbons in our chain. So it doesn't matter if you go from left to right, or you start going from left to right and then bend up the way, it doesn't matter because it's still 6 carbons. And a 6 carbon chain is known as hexane. So we've got hexane. What we want to think about now is what kind of branch we have coming off this hexane chain. We'll see that previously we had 1 carbon coming off in our last molecule, and that was called a methyl branch. However, here we have 2 carbons coming off the main chain. 2 carbon chain. So as opposed to a methyl branch, this is what we call an ethyl branch. So we've got hexane with an ethyl branch coming off that chain. And the last thing to think about is what number of carbon is that ethyl branch coming off. So if we go from left to right, we'll see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is coming off the 4th carbon. However, if we read from right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's coming off the 3rd carbon. When naming a molecule, we read from the side which gives us the smallest number. So as opposed to reading from left to right, we're going to read from right to left and put the number 3 in our molecule's name. So this is 3-ethylhexane. When it comes to the systematic naming of alkenes, we must always specify the position of the double bond within the molecule in the name. So looking at both of these molecules, you can see they both have 4 carbons and 8 hydrogen atoms. However, this molecule here has the double bond between the first and the second carbon, so that's in the first available position. However, this molecule here has the double bond between the second and the third carbon, so that's the second available position. So we have to specify that this double bond is in the first position, whereas this double bond is in the second position within the name. And it's as simple as, before the 3 letters ENE, we want to place that number in there. So if we've got 4 carbons, we'd call this butene, but now we need to specify where that double bond is. It's in the first position, so we're going to call that but1ene. So right in the middle of that molecule's name, we'll place number 1. This molecule here, the double bond is in the second position, so we'll call this but2ene. If these molecules contained a branch, let's say a branch coming off this carbon here, we would then go about naming the molecule just like we did following those 3 steps. So we would have the branch name and the number before but2ene. So name the longest chain first. In terms of an alkene, this includes the number in the middle, and then go about with your branches. Now let's put all of that into practice and have a go at naming this molecule here. So you can pause the video and have a shot at naming this molecule, and then in a few seconds time we'll come back together and we will go about naming it. Okay, so remember step 1 was finding the longest carbon chain and naming it. So our longest carbon chain, going from left to right, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be pent. We can see we've got a double bond here, so we know it's going to be pentene. But as we've just previously discussed, we need to now specify the position of that double bond. The double bond's in the first position, so it wouldn't just be pentene, it would be pent1ene. Now we can go about naming any branches that are coming off. Do we see any branches? Well, what do we have here? We've got a methyl branch. Because we've got 1 carbon and 3 hydrogens. So that's a methyl branch. And finally, we want to number the carbon atom that this methyl branch is coming off. 1, 2, 3. 3-methyl-pent1ene. Quite a mouthful, but by following the simple steps that have been laid out in this video, you should be able to name any molecule regardless of if it's got a double bond, or a branch, or both. Okay, so thanks for watching guys. Stay tuned for the next video where we're going to look at isoms. Okay, I'll see you then.